So I'm 13 days into Novel November or Nano, and my hot cocoa has gotten cold and stale. My playlist has somehow turned into a murder and rage-filled chaos. And my word count tracker just sits there side-eyeing me most days. If that sounds familiar, you're in the right place. This week isn't about grinding harder. It's about slowing down enough to actually find flow. You know, that delicious sweet spot where you stop chasing inspiration and just start inviting it in. Because the quiet in between the chaos, that is where your creativity hides. Today, we're going to talk about why rituals beat routines and how small sensory cues can just change everything. We're going to talk about how adapting your rhythm mid-sprint is actually the ultimate creative flex and a little trick and hack for you to keep your momentum going. We're going to talk about how to write from a place of freedom, not from a place of pressure, with reflection and check-ins that keep the joy in the process. By the end of this video, you're going to leave with your own mid-month mindset reset and just maybe the permission you didn't know you needed that'll just help you make this journey your own. And hi, I'm Celine, if we haven't met yet. And welcome back to the Uncharted studio, if we have. This is your cozy corner for mindful creativity and authentic growth. Last week, we built rhythm. We lit candles, we set timers, we defined our one brave page, and I'll leave that video linked up here. I think it's the right side. But this week, we're talking about refinement, about figuring out what's working, what's wobbling, and how to reconnect with the joy of making. So grab your mug, light something that smells like calm, and let's find flow right here, right now. We love routines. They make us feel in control, but creativity doesn't thrive on control. It thrives on meaning. A routine might say, do this because you have to, but a ritual says, do this because it matters. And that tiny shift makes a massive difference in how you feel about it. There are a lot of studies that show that personal rituals reduce anxiety and they increase confidence before performance. It's the same effect that athletes get from lacing their shoes in the exact same way, or tennis players get from bouncing the ball the same way before they serve. So yeah, your pre-writing cup of tea or your little candle lighting ceremony is science-backed self-soothing. It's not procrastination, mostly. So tell me about one tiny ritual that you always do before creating. Drop it in the comments. I'm curious about what everyone else is doing, and I'm pretty much going to steal some ideas for my own. But anyway, rituals build cue memory. Every time you repeat a specific sensory combo, scent, light, sound, your brain goes, oh, it's art time, or it's writing time, or it's whatever. That cue transports you way faster into focus mode than willpower ever could. Tonight, just pick one cue. Maybe it's your favorite mug or a certain soundtrack, and just use it again tomorrow and the day after that. That's how you quietly build a rhythm that becomes a ritual. Okay, time for some real talk. Around this point in any creative challenge, around 2 weeks in, things start to creak. Maybe your schedule's fallen apart. Maybe your story took a turn into uncharted wilderness. Mine definitely has. And you know what? That's good, because the ability to adapt is one of the most reliable predictors of creative success. Flow state researchers say flow happens when challenge and skill are balanced. If something's too easy, it's feeling too easy, you get bored. If it's feeling too hard, you get anxious and demotivated. Adjusting that balance and fine-tuning it isn't quitting. It's just progress. So let's check in and figure out what we need to adjust right now to make all of this work better. Ask yourself, what's working beautifully in your rhythm so far? What feels forced? And what's one tweak that could make this week feel lighter? I actually suggest you hit pause and write those down. Maybe write them in the comments, just draft some thoughts. And then we can all just steal ideas for what's working. For me, I realized that the mid-morning writing sessions, even though they look so poetic on Pinterest and they are the ideal idea of what should work for me, feel terrible in real life. By 11, I'm hangry, I'm cranky, and there are just so many distractions that it just isn't working. And here we are, we're talking about finding flow amid the chaos, which just wasn't happening. So now my mid-mornings are for work, actual work. Early mornings are for drafting. My candle budget has probably increased like 50%, but so has my progress. So I'd say this is a win. And after all, adapting isn't failure, it's evolution. It's proof that you're listening to yourself. Now let's talk about pressure, that invisible weight that says that your words have to mean something. Your project and goals have to be big, they have to be huge for them to have any value. Pressure actually kills flow faster than any distraction ever could. Flow lives where joy does. It lives in curiosity, it lives in compassion, not comparison. Generally, intrinsic motivation, in other words, doing something for the sheer love of it, triples creative output compared to any sort of external reward motivation that you might have. So paradoxically, the less you chase these results, the more results you actually get. So maybe we need to tweak our goals again, just to listen to that little voice inside that says, you know what? Let's make this goal a little smaller. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Or maybe it's saying, hey, I'm up for a challenge. Why aren't we challenging ourselves here? Either way, it's time to be more like Goldilocks and figure out a way, tweak them until we get it just right. When was the last time that you created something just for fun? If it's been a while, that is your mission tonight. Yesterday, I wrote an entire page, which is an absolutely useless page, about a fictional tavern's menu in my world. It's complete with recipe ideas, things that I actually would like to make for dinner sometime soon, and it's absolutely absurd. And it'll never be used in any final product, but it was fun, and that's all I needed it to be. So this week I encourage you to try one session of just joyful nonsense. No editing, no agenda, just let your creativity remember that it's allowed to breathe, that it's allowed to just go on a rampage in some random direction, and that you will let it show you where it's taking you. Then after that, you can get back to your plan, back to your outline, back to your novel, or to whatever creative project that you're working on. Before we wrap things up for today, let's get grounded in a little bit of reflection. Grab your notebook and answer these questions with me. How did I feel in my body when I wrote today? Which ritual cue helped me the most? What didn't feel quite right that I can adjust? What small win can I celebrate? And what am I excited to explore next? These 5 questions become a mirror of your creative growth. So tell me about one tweak that these questions have led you to and that you're going to try carrying forward into the next week. Either comment it below or just tag me on Instagram or Threads. I'm on everything a lot more than I probably ought to be. If this video helped you in any way, if it helped you breathe a little easier, give it a like, share it with a creative who is just struggling with week 2 and trying to find some flow, and subscribe so you don't miss next week's chaos. Until then, light your candle, open your notebook or your laptop, and remember, flow happens when we stop chasing and start listening.